Hey guys, let's get more news about Steelers, but first, don't forget to subscribe and leave your like. First call, Matt Stafford's wife on board with move if trade happens. Steelers legend presses need for QB improvement. If the Pittsburgh Steelers really have an interest in acquiring Matthew Stafford, it appears his wife is willing to move from Los Angeles if needed. A Steelers legend is encouraging the team to make a move at QB as soon as possible. We preview the Penguins' weekend ahead, potentially without Sidney Crosby. It's also a busy weekend of college hoops and college hockey. All that is on the way in Friday's First Call. Open to all options. Los Angeles Rams quarterback Matthew Stafford has been floated as a trade possibility for the Steelers. It's obvious why the Steelers would want to trade for him. They need a quarterback. Stafford threw for 20 touchdowns and 3,762 yards on a playoff team this year. But would the Rams really trade him? And if so, would Stafford and his family really want to leave California for Pittsburgh or any other destination? During her latest Morning After podcast, Stafford's wife, Kelly, sounded open to a trade if one were to occur. "I love the city of LA, and I love the life that we have built here," Kelly said via the New York Post. "With that being said, I love an adventure. I am all for it. Right now, if the Rams decided that they wanted to trade him or Matthew decided he didn't want to play for the Rams, I am good." The Staffords have 4 daughters. Kelly has 431,000 followers on Instagram. No one's talking about the Matthew Stafford thing. "I don't understand it," SI's Albert Breer said on the Dan Patrick Show from New Orleans this week. "I don't understand why nobody's talking about the idea that Stafford could be available, and if you're another team, you're probably calling the Rams." Breer and ESPN's Dan Orlovsky both mentioned the Steelers as potential destinations for Stafford. According to OvertHecap.com, the 36-year-old is due $27 million in salary and bonuses this year and $31 million in 2026. Since Big Ben has left, they've been struggling to find that replacement, Woodson said Thursday. "I think they have to find that replacement. They do put a good product on the field year in and year out, and I know Tomlin is a really good coach, but he's not going to win another Super Bowl until they find the replacement for Ben Roethlisberger in that quarterback position. You need a quarterback in today's game. If you don't have one, you're gonna struggle in the National Football League. Forget winning another Super Bowl, Rod. I'd go even further and say he's not going to win another playoff game until that happens." Woodson, who also played in Baltimore, San Francisco, and Oakland during his career, is now calling games for the Ravens, so he's seen some of the Steelers' struggles at the QB position up close. The 6-time All-Pro played in a Super Bowl with the Steelers in 1995-96, with Neil O'Donnell as the Steelers' quarterback. "And I think we all know what happened there." Broad Street and Broadway. The Penguins wrap up play before the Four Nations tournament by heading to Madison Square Garden to play the New York Rangers on Friday night. Then, they tangle with the Flyers in Philadelphia on Saturday. They might have to do so without Sidney Crosby, who was limited at practice Thursday after suffering an upper body injury in Tuesday's loss to the New Jersey Devils. Rickard Rakell moved wing to center on the team's top line. The Flyers have 53 points, just like the Penguins. Their most recent loss was a 4-3 decision at home against the Washington Capitals on Thursday night. Alex Ovechkin scored for Washington with less than a minute to go in the first period. Steelers star TJ Watt loses out on Defensive Player of the Year. Pittsburgh Steelers star outside linebacker TJ Watt did not win the NFL's Defensive Player of the Year award. Watt finished 4th in voting behind the winner, Denver Broncos cornerback Patrick Surtain, Cincinnati Bengals edge rusher Trey Hendrickson, and Cleveland Browns defensive end Myles Garrett. Watt received 3 first-place votes, but a quiet last month when he failed to register a statistic was his ultimate doom. He still racked up 11.5 sacks and put up solid pressure numbers, but Watt's productivity took a sharp downturn after suffering ankle and thumb injuries late in the season. It would have been Watt's second Defensive Player of the Year award. He was second last year to Garrett, which stirred controversy when Watt skipped out on the ceremony. In addition to Watt, Steelers defensive tackle Cameron Hayward earned 1 second-place vote. Hayward earned another first-team All-Pro nod and put up 8.5 sacks. His triumphant return after a season marred by multiple groin injuries in 2023 put him in an elite category for players that were 35 years old or older. Glazer, Russell Wilson won't be back with Steelers. We are still over a month away from the new league year beginning in the NFL, which is where teams can officially begin making roster moves and building for the 2025 season. For the second straight season, the Steelers will enter the offseason with quarterback questions. Both Russell Wilson and Justin Fields are set to be free agents, and the only other quarterback under contract is Skylar Thompson. Reports have begun coming out, as well, that Steelers offensive coordinator Arthur Smith put training wheels on Wilson after the first matchup with the Bengals, where Wilson turned back time and threw for over 400 yards while the Steelers put up 44 points and defeated Cincinnati. Those reports indicate that Smith told Wilson to stop checking out of plays at the line of scrimmage so Pittsburgh could establish a run game that never got established anyway, and the Steelers' offense looked dreadful in the final month of the season. Should those reports be true, they are very damning toward Smith. Many, though, took it with a grain of salt, assuming it was Wilson's camp that leaked/planted that story to make Wilson look better. Regardless, there is a swarm of fans that will take all reports with that same grain of salt unless they come from NFL insider Jay Glazer, Mike Tomlin's good friend. Well, Glazer gave his thoughts on the Steelers speaking with NBC during Radio Row. "I don't think that's going to happen," Glazer said on Wilson returning to the Steelers. "I think we'll see a new start for Russell somewhere else." Glazer also noted he doesn't think the Steelers know who their quarterback will be in 2025. And while it could be Justin Fields, which is the route many believe they will go, it is still very up in the air, especially if someone like Matthew Stafford becomes available. However, it does appear that Russell Wilson's time in Pittsburgh is over. And are you a fan? What do you think of Russell Wilson's exit? Leave your opinion in the comments.